What's up guys, Ryan here. Today I wanted to do a video where I share 3 ways that I almost failed at getting my FBA business up and running, because as I'm sure you can imagine, there's so many moving parts, so much to learn, a lot to navigate, especially if you're going through it for the first time. Not that it can't be done. I mean, there's plenty of good free resources out there. For instance, check out ryanhogue.com, link in the description. I put out tons of free content, and obviously if you found me on my YouTube channel, then you know that I'm putting out a lot of valuable content here as well. But there are 3 main ways looking back on my journey that I almost didn't make it. So before I talk about the ways I almost failed in Amazon FBA, let me spend a minute or two talking about ways I used to make money online before my mindset switched to focusing more on like a passive income journey. Instead of back in the day, I would just focus on making money any way I could, trading my time for money, etc. So I was really good at World of Warcraft, the massively popular computer game. In that game, you can build up accounts and the account value by acquiring items in game, and also by achieving like the highest titles in the player versus player realms, where you play against other humans and compete and then achieve high titles for being really good. I did both. I had some of the most valuable accounts that you could have because I had the best stuff when you were slaying online dragons, and I had the highest titles you could get in every division you could get them in the player versus player realm. So I know you guys probably don't care about World of Warcraft at all. I would sell my accounts for a lot of money. Eventually I realized I could automate these things. I started botting in World of Warcraft. I turned one account without spending a dime of real money, only using in-game currency. Turned one account into 2, turned that into 4, turned that into 8. I would run 8 simultaneous World of Warcraft accounts using automation software that would get me in-game currency that I could then sell for real-life money. And I had a network of buyers across 6 different servers. It's not something original. Plenty of people used to do it. Plenty of people still do. Anyways, it was good, free money. Free money's the best kind. Didn't cost me really anything. I had to pay for the bot, but besides that, it was good. Second, I fell in love with web development while I was in college, and I didn't wait for school to teach me how to be a better web developer. Once I realized it was something that I really liked and I saw the value in, that was it. I just took it and I ran with it. It's been very fortuitous. I have a big website that you've seen in my income reports that I've been making passive income off of for 10 years at this point, running ads, doing direct partnerships for promotions, email blasts, etc. That's been very lucrative, and it's just been free money. I made that website as a passion project. It's my 9 to 5. I'm a web developer. But also, I was making money on my own because I registered an LLC immediately when I graduated school, and I started doing freelance web development projects. The reason I mentioned that is because, please remember that I said this. You want to get paid to learn if you're learning a skill. You don't have to learn for free in a lot of cases. If you're learning a skill that's in high demand, people will pay you to do things for them, as long as you're, and you're going to learn every time you do. Like if you're building websites, every time you build a new website, you should be getting a little bit better at your job. Don't just do it for free. You can do it for free, obviously, but like go see if you can find a client. There's so many small businesses that need websites or need website refreshes. Go find them, pitch them, let them pay you to redo their website, learn on the job. Massive pro tip. So I was getting paid on the side to do my own website design and development, and then also charging website hosting. I charge monthly hosting, but the way I do it is I bill it quarterly. And it's not like getting me rich or anything, but it was a great side hustle, a great learning experience, especially while I was still getting better as a developer. So moving on to ways I almost failed at Amazon FBA. The number one reason that I almost failed, and this has got to be the number one reason across the board that people fail at their Amazon FBA businesses, is failure to launch. Like I just mentioned, it's so hard to navigate all of the intricacies of starting an Amazon business for the first time. Incredibly hard. Like go look up the curriculum of my Amazon course. It's a long ass curriculum with a lot of modules. I'm extremely thorough in it, like I've mentioned before. I want to handhold you literally through the entire process and make it as simple as possible, which I do, because of how hard it really is to get your Amazon FBA business off the ground. Now, like anything else, once you've done it, it gets a lot easier. But that first time, I'll tell you, is super hard. Now, I consider myself a pretty competent person. I couldn't figure it out on my own. Granted, did I give it my best effort? Maybe not, but that's a whole nother thing. Humans tricking themselves into holding themselves accountable is literally a whole nother thing that you could probably go watch a TED Talks on and figure out if there's some weird life hack that you can do to help hold yourself accountable. I'm at the point in my life where I'm so hungry for success that I can hold myself accountable to wake up in the morning and do these YouTube videos and then go work 2 jobs later today and then get home and come back and continue working on these YouTube videos and other things. But getting off the ground is not easy, and I was not able to successfully do it myself. Fortunately, I went to this like local business owners meeting to support a friend doing a speech in like late 2016. Just super random, but one of the guys there, like when the meeting started out, everybody around the room did introductions. There was someone there who said he was with Brown Box Solutions and that he was an Amazon seller. And a light bulb went off in my head, like, Amazon seller. Okay, I know I need to get some passive income going. Everybody says selling on Amazon's lucrative. I need to talk to that dude. Even though I ended up being late to work that day because it was a work day, I spent an extra like 20 minutes after the meeting ended hunting that guy down and saying, hey man, like I want to learn more about selling on Amazon. Like what's your business like, etc., etc. He filled me in, he protected his niches like every Amazon seller does, even in person. And he said, hey, by the way, like I do Amazon coaching. This is what it costs, And he said basically, I'll keep it real with you guys. I paid this guy $2,500 up front. Or you could pay in installments and it was like $3,000. So I took obviously the upfront route, saved $500. And while it was a lot of money, it was the best investment I've ever made because it was an investment in myself. And this was an investment in myself that, unlike going to college or something where on paper, yeah, you're supposed to do it because everybody else does it. This investment was purely my choice. And it had a direct monetary return on investment. Like I'm sure everybody knows somebody who went to college, got a degree in something, and then ended up working a job completely unrelated as soon as they graduated. And using myself as an example, I got a technical degree. I wouldn't say that I came out of college equipped to work as a web developer, but because I was so hungry and passionate about it, I had learned on my own the skills needed to easily get a job doing it. My first job paid me $55,000 out of school. My first year on Amazon FBA, I made $52,000. Just consider that. There's nothing stopping you. There's no education barrier to get an FBA business started. It's really just navigating it for that first time that's so challenging. So don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it is the real takeaway here, because I tried to do it on my own for free. I ended up having to pay somebody, call it an investment for help. The return that I got in just the first year was immense, so it was well worth it. Reason I almost failed, number 2, product research. Everybody on YouTube loves to talk about product research tools. I personally love the product research tools. I stand by them. They are well worth the investment. While they're not required to find profitable Amazon products to sell, they certainly speed up the process. And remember, guys, one thing you'll learn when you start doing your Amazon business is that time is money. And if you can spend $30 a month, $1 a day for a tool that helps you find profitable products that drastically speeds up the process, you should absolutely do it because your time is money. Anyways, I spent over 2 months in the product research phase. The time it took me to launch my first product was much longer than it should have because I just got stuck looking for the golden egg of a product that somehow was going to be in super high demand with super low competition and poor listing quality of my competitors. Essentially, I was suffering from paralysis by overanalysis. My coach that I had paid to teach me how to sell on Amazon had basically talked me off the cliff. One day he said, man, why have you still not launched your first product? And I said, well, I'm looking for the perfect product, like you said. And he's like, no, you don't need to find the perfect product. Just find a niche that looks like it could be disrupted. One that's selling relatively well and by the way, guys, I have a free Amazon FBA mini course. Look right here in the description. I give you some parameters during the product research phase. When I say look for a niche that's selling well, I'll actually give you the quantifiable parameters to justify if a niche is selling what I would consider to be well enough. So go ahead and check that out. It's free, absolutely free. Link's right here in the description. But he basically said, hey, you just got to find one that you look like you can go in and make some money. And I realize it's truly a little bit of a long-term play. Like you enter a niche, you might sit in the top 10 for a while. By the way, it's going to take you time to get to the top 10. You're going to have to advertise to get there. But once you're on page 1, the market will pretty much determine, as long as there's not some incumbent with like hundreds of reviews that's just going to outrank you forever, the market will determine who's really going to be successful in the long term. So you get to page 1, now you've got a chance at getting some organic sales. over time, your reviews will normalize based on how good the product really is. And long story short, that first product that I launched, I ended up launching over 10 different new SKUs that were variants. I have the brand registered and trademarked. So I searched 2 days ago for the primary keywords, and I have the first 3 organic listings. I'm just crushing this niche. And guys, that can be you. You just don't spend forever in the product research phase. There is no such thing as a golden egg. There's always going to be competition. If there's no competition, you're going to be entering a space where you don't actually know if there's a demand. So there's always going to be competition. You're not going to know if you can best them until you actually get out there and try and launch a product. So don't be scared. Reason number 3 that my Amazon FBA business almost failed is bankrolling growth. So you want to be aggressive with product launches for an Amazon business because you truly do not know what's going to succeed, what's going to fail until you actually launch products and try and actually find out by putting products to market. So it takes money, obviously, to do that. You have to pay for production, you have to pay for inbound shipping, and you're going to have to pay to advertise products in 2019. It's just kind of the way it goes. You either had to do that in the past or do giveaways, or if you were super lucky, you'd enter a niche where there just wasn't enough competition, but the demand was high and you got free advertising. But those days are pretty much over, and advertising costs aren't that high. Again, they pretty much come out of the revenue you generate from a sale. So don't sweat that too much. But bankrolling growth is a topic that not a lot of people seem to cover accurately, especially in this YouTube space. Now, the reason I say that, and I've done other videos on this and I've done blog posts on this, but the amount of money it really costs to launch a product is whatever it costs for your first order plus first order inbound shipping times 2 at least. Here's why. I'll recap again. So my first ever product order on Amazon cost me $1,600 to produce and $800 to ship. Now I did do air shipping to save time because I didn't have any inventory at Amazon. I wanted to speed up the process. So $800 shipping was kind of high. Either way, $2,400. Now, while my sales are starting to roll in and my product's getting established, I'm going to have to project when I need to reorder, because to produce orders takes about 30 days on average. I need to reorder and budget in time for inbound shipping to Amazon in an attempt to not go out of stock. Because when you go out of stock, it kills your product's momentum, kills the organic rank, and lets the competitors that you just jump you back and get their position back. So you do not want to go out of stock. And you only get paid from Amazon twice a month. So where does the capital come to pay your supplier for that second order and pay your shipper to ship that second order? You're not getting paid immediately when you get these sales on Amazon. And there are services like Payoneer that will offer you daily payments. But guys, I mean, if you're running any kind of business, you need to understand predatory financial practices. And if someone's offering you daily payments for a percentage of your revenue, is that a good idea? Do I need to tell you if it's a good idea? It's not a good idea. So no, you're going to get paid twice a month from Amazon, and you're going to have to essentially bankroll 2 orders is what I always say. Plus, if you're really established in your product and it's getting good sales, your initial order quantity will most likely go up. Now, all of a sudden, you're actually paying, if the first order was 2,400, you're going to pay for more units, and maybe it becomes like 4,000 because you have more units and then you have to pay more in shipping. So hopefully you get the point I'm trying to share with you. You do need money to run an FBA business. $2,400 was enough for my first order, but before I saw much, if any, money from that first order in my bank account, I had to reorder and, to keep the inventory in stock. Plus, I'm always hungry. I want to launch new products and I have to bankroll them. It helps that I am a senior front-end web developer and that I have a second job where I teach web development at a university. I have the financial backing to pay for these products without taking loans, etc. But I have another story I shared briefly on my blog. It's like I launched a whole new brand for that website I started in college 10 years ago, right around Christmas in 2017. And I spent $35,000 on the first order, but it was 7 different SKUs from one supplier, completely branded. It was so sick. It was the sickest looking. I was just so happy. I mean, it matched my brand to a T. It was beautiful. The products all were branded with the website on them. a lot of them weren't profitable enough, and I had to cut a lot of them loose, but that's a separate story. I was able to survive even that $35,000 first order because I didn't have to reorder. I mean, I did actually. I reordered each one of the SKUs. No, of the 7, I reordered 6 of the SKUs. I was able to bankroll it myself, but it was tough watching my bank accounts dip down like that. And ultimately, like, I cut loose 6 of the 7, so I wasn't just constantly on the hook to finance $35,000 reorders or more. It could have been 40, 50,000 if they were really successful. Part of that lesson learned was also selling oversized units can really be tough to be profitable if customers return them, and they were high dollar. The most expensive units in that order I was selling for between $125 to $150. I should make a separate video for that because I could talk about it for a while, and this video has been going on for long enough. So guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you liked it, hit that like button. Please consider subscribing to my channel. I'm dropping the fire every day that I can. And leave me a comment if you have any questions or feedback. I appreciate your time. Thanks for checking it out, and I'll see you at the next one.